Hello. Hey, my name is Dave Pannell, real estate broker here locally. I sell and buy houses in Dallas, Fort Worth, all over Texas, really, if the numbers are right. What I want to talk about today is the term I always hear is what is fair market value when you're going to sell a property, when you're going to represent a property as a real estate agent, or if you're an executor and you're entrusted to execute the wishes of the will or the probate. So let's go in that today. So what is fair market value? What is the definition for you as an executor? Maybe you're preparing to sell an asset within the estate, a vehicle, a property, or some land. But what is fair market value? Fair market value is going to be where a reasonable seller and a reasonable buyer will actually purchase that asset at a reasonable price on the open market. What is the open market? Is the open market a private sale? Is the open market as is sale that you invite people to the property and you get multiple bids that way? Or do you list it with a real estate agent to get a wider net of buyers? So let's talk about today, because you actually have to sell the house 3 times to achieve fair market value to a retail buyer. So let's go over that real quick. A fair market value is, like I said before, it's just the open market. It's just your decision as an executor. A lot of people think they can't go to the open market with a real estate agent because it's an as-is property. They're going to get hassled by condition requests or inspections, or they're going to have a bunch of delays, so they just want to do it privately. But to really, truly get fair market value, what I love to do is kind of like an auction sale on a property where you have lots of traffic at the property, you list it as an attractive price, and you get lots of people bidding on the property on a one specific day of the week. So we will go 2 weeks on the market as a coming soon listing, and then we're going to open the house to showings. And hopefully it's going to be on Thursday night or on a Saturday afternoon. And we're going to attract hopefully at least 3 buyers to the property at a minimum so that we can get at least 2 offers. But typically what happens is you get 20 buyers and you get 7 or 8 offers on a property. And then you can negotiate every one of those offers to achieve your fair market value. If you get 8 offers on a property out of 20 buyers, you know you've achieved the goal for the courts. If it's an administration, you achieved the goal from the advice of the attorney, and it looks so much better to the courts and to the file as being the rep as the executor that you achieved fair market value for that asset. Because there's a lot of people out there that are buying properties and they're partnering up with people, which is perfectly fine, nothing wrong with it. It's called assignments or wholesaling in this world. You're going to do private showings to investors. There may or may not be the direct buyer of the property, but they're going to probably assign it to a partner or partner up in the process of closing on the property. If you decide to list the property with a real estate representative that you trust to get you fair market value, we're going to put the house on the market with the best photos. We're going to help you clean the property out. We're going to just present the property as best it can. You don't always have to make all the repairs necessary, but you want to make everything reasonable. So when a buyer walks through a property, they could see all the repairs needed. When you do the paperwork, you're not required in most cases to do a seller's disclosure, but you want to make sure that you have all the documents online. I just went to tell you a quick story. I just went to a property yesterday and they listed the property for over 49 days and there's no documentation. It's a 2-acre property in Texas and they have very limited information online. So you always have to constantly ask the listing agent to get something from the seller. That's the one thing you want to avoid. If you're in this situation where you want to engage the services of a real estate agent, make sure you have all your documentation, your survey, seller disclosures. If there's a septic tank, you want to have the paperwork showing the diagram where the septic tank is. You probably want to have it serviced for, I don't know, I think it's $150 to have it serviced. Don't get me, I haven't done one in a while, so it may be more. If there's an AC on the property, you may want to get a service just so you have a service. We use Baker Brothers for the cost. It's like $70 to have someone just come look at the equipment in the house, and then I could put all that paperwork online. So I could have a survey, I could have a seller's disclosure. If there's a septic tank, I could have where it's located, when it was serviced, AC, when it was cleaned and located. It's easy to find AC. All those things will just help us get fair market value because we're going to list everything wrong with the property up front. So when you get Investors, they have to either estimate it very quickly or they have to make an assumption of something that needs repaired. So when you're trying to estimate your profit, which is the only reason to buy a property and flip it over 5 months is to make a profit, they have to make a fair offer, which sometimes comes across as a low ball offer. You, as a executor, you want to make sure that you list everything possibly wrong with the property. I know that it's completely backwards. You think that you could leave things off by omission maybe, or not list an item because you think you could sell as is, or that's the excuse to sell as is. But please don't. If you want fair market value of property, go ahead and list everything wrong with the property. Have it inspected completely. Have the AC service. Have everything identified so that when buyers show up, the lenders, the inspectors, everything is on par so that you could get a very honest, upfront, fair offer from every buyer on the market, and there's no question of the property condition. That's another way to achieve fair market value. My last thought here is lots of executors, we hire us every year to list their properties because they do want fair market value of a property. Typically, they want somebody that's going to treasure the house and not just flip it for a quick profit. So in that process, what we're going to do is we want to come over and look at the property, walk through, inspect it. It takes less than probably 15, 20 minutes. I already know the market value because I studied it prior to the appointment. So I can give you advice on where you want to list your property to achieve a better value. The one thing that comes to mind is that you're going to have to be comfortable, depending on the condition of the property. 80, 90% of the time, most of the houses that I look at, they have everything replaced, like AC, water heater. They have a new roof. They usually have new windows because at some point someone sold that to your father or mother, but they don't do the cosmetic updates. So we have to kind of guesstimate what that costs when we're looking at a property. So when you're looking at the comps, everything that's sold on the street, everything that's sold on the street behind it and in front of it, the neighborhood, or within the school district, those are the qualifiers to look at the highest price for your style house and the lowest price. So if you have a property that we recommend, let's just say the price is $150. That's pretty low these days. But the highest price in the market was $225 per se. The highest remodeled house is from an investor, sold a house for $226. And the lowest sale was, let's say, $140, $135. You're going to want to list your property on the open market with a real estate agent to get fair market value. You're probably going to want to come in at 80% of that number. Every 7 people, typically, you'll get one offer to the property. So you want to attract about 21 people to look at the property, either investors, neighbors that have friends, realtors with buyers, and then you'll achieve fair market value. And there'll be no question because you'll have 3 or 4 offers right around the number that you want probably to accept. And then you could take the cleanest offer that gets you to closing. Hope this video helps. If you need more consultation or if you would like to give me a call, my number is in the comments or the description. My name is Dave Pannell. I would love to talk to you and help you sell your house for fair market value. But there's a strategy. It's not about the price. It's about the process of doing it correctly. Thank you. Bye-bye.